If it 300% increased my business, it can definitely do something for you, okay? I'm basically just gonna write out on the whiteboard how I structure my online coaching business, especially since I base my business off of social media, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And this is how I generate leads for my business and create passive income as well. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a relationship and wellness coach, and I make content on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I have collectively over 66,000 followers across all my platforms. You actually don't need that many followers to make money online. I actually didn't start making money until recently because the way I was structuring my business was based on getting views and growing followers instead of actually using a business model that works. And so I noticed I was studying other creators who had way less followers than me, way less content than me, and somehow they were getting more clients. They were getting more sales. So I really had to dig deep in my brain and study all these other channels and all these other business models and go through the 3-year journey of basically experimenting with all sorts of different things until I finally found something that worked for me. And as soon as I implemented this system, I instantly saw about 300% increase in my sales and in my conversions. So I highly suggest you take notes during this video and you try to implement these things that make sense for you. So the first thing we're going to talk about is called cash funnels. This is basically a 4-step system where you're going to capture the person and then you're going to walk them through into purchasing from you. So the C stands for capture. This is where you're going to capture their attention. This is where most creators, including myself in the past, have spent most of their time, when in reality, this is just one part of the puzzle. This is just what gets their attention. From there, you still have to be intentional about it. That's why people will say quality over quantity. It's not because posting more doesn't get you more results. It's because usually when someone is too focused on putting out so much quantity, they forget the quality. They forget the purpose of what they're doing. What are you trying to accomplish with this video? That's going to move me on to the 3 pillars of content. This is how you're going to capture people's attention. And anytime you're making content, you want to think about which of these 3 pillars it's hitting. The first content pillar is meant to entertain. This is where you're going to be focused on getting the person to laugh, getting the person to listen to a story, how you would want to feel if you're watching TV or you're scrolling online or you're going on YouTube for entertainment purposes. Ask yourself, hey, how do I like to be entertained? And intend for that. Content that is meant to entertain has a huge capacity to go viral. That is why the most viral things are usually memes or pet videos or funny home videos. It's because these are the things that anyone anywhere can relate to and resonate with and enjoy. Entertainment content is the most shared thing as well. So if you make something that is entertaining, people are more likely to put that on their story, share it with their friends. Because it made them laugh or made them entertained, they want to share that with their friends. Here's the key with this type of content. You have to keep your strategy in mind. What is the purpose of your content online? If you want to make something that is funny or entertaining, make sure that it's still on brand. So for me, on my main channel, if I'm going to post something entertaining, it's going to be relationship based. If I post memes on my Instagram, which I've posted several memes that have gone really viral for my account, and a lot of the times the jokes that I'll make have to do with masculine energy, feminine energy, dating, relationships, because that is my brand. I'm not going to make a random joke about something that's completely unrelated, because then I'm capturing the attention of people who I'm not really sure if they're my target audience. Whereas if I make a piece of content that's meant to be entertaining, but it's within the topic of my industry, I'm more likely to capture the attention of people who are more likely to want to purchase these kinds of services or want to access the other pillars of content, which I'm about to teach you right now. The second pillar of content is to inspire. This is where people want to feel good. They want to get that motivation. Sometimes people will go online because they need someone to remind them what they already know. So this is also content that people like to share with their friends, because if they felt motivated by something, then maybe their friends will too. It's slightly less shareable than the entertainment-based content, because for someone to send inspirational content to someone else, they have to really want to inspire the other person. But for someone to share something that's funny, it's really easy to just send it over. You don't have to think about it too much. But this is the type of content that attracts the people who are one step away from investing in themselves. Because they're seeking out that motivation, they're realizing that, hey, in whatever industry you're in, the education that they have, the information that they have, and the motivation that they naturally have is not enough. They're actively seeking out other motivation and inspiration, whether they searched for this kind of content or the algorithm naturally shows it to them. Something about them says, hey, I need inspiration. And that's one step away from saying, hey, I need help with your coaching services, or I need someone to help me. I need one more thing that's gonna finish that puzzle to complete the solution that I desire for myself. In terms of my content strategy, the best thing that I like to post that hits this topic is my positive affirmations. So on my relationship and wellness page, I post daily positive affirmations. I also actually launched a whole product based around inspiration. This is a positive affirmations card deck. This is something that you can now purchase on Amazon that also creates separate passive income for me, where I don't have to teach anybody anything or go on YouTube to make money off of this. This is a physical product. But this started by me posting positive affirmations on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Positive affirmations is something that's really easy that will instantly make someone feel better and feel more motivated and more inspired. That's part of my personal brand when it comes to feeling inspired, because that's what I do for myself. So the only thing I did was share my daily rituals of my positive affirmations, and there you go. That hit the second pillar of content. The third and most powerful and converting type of content is educational content. This is what you're watching right now. For someone to sit and watch this video where I'm teaching you this step-by-step process, that means you're really serious about growing. You're already ready to make that decision. In fact, you've already made the decision to invest in yourself in some way. So the people that watch educational content from you are the ones that are most likely to purchase something. They're the ones that are most likely to engage in your community. They're the ones that you should be giving most attention to. Now, if you stick to only making this content, you could be setting yourself up for failure, because you could be posting so much value, so much education, but because you're not hitting the other two pillars, you're not casting your net wide enough to capture and bring in new people. So for people to find you, they'll have to dig through all the other creators posting the same educational content. Whereas if you do the reverse strategy, where you start at the top and you work your way down the pillars, you're able to capture people and capture people in the specific intention that you want to capture them. You can capture a potential client at any of the three pillars of content that I've taught you, but this is probably the most powerful, and this is where you're going to move on to the next step in the cash funnel system. The next step is going to be acquire. So the first step was capture our client. The second step is acquire. What are you going to acquire? You're going to acquire their email or some sort of contact information where you can continue to talk to them. The easiest way that people do this is by giving out a freebie, giving out some kind of free PDF, some kind of free community, something for free that gives the viewer an incentive to get a little bit more value from you and exchange their email address from you. That way you're able to not only capture the person, but you're able to put them into your roster, put them into your email list, and that way now you can forever contact this person, unless of course they choose to leave. I started working on acquiring an email list for probably about a year now. I've been doing it on and off. I've noticed that the easiest way to grow your email list is to give something out for free. Whenever I've tested free offers in the past, that's where I've seen the highest and fastest influx of new people coming in and claiming it. The easiest way to create a free PDF or a freebie that most of your audience is going to want to download and give you their email address is look at your content. Look at your educational content, your inspirational content, your entertainment content. Look at the comments. What are the common questions that you're getting? What are the common myths and misconceptions that people are commenting or misunderstandings? What is one thing, one understanding that you wish your clients could have before they started working with you? Because this is the primer. This is the hey, this is what I could potentially teach you. Here's a little taste of what it's going to be like purchasing from me. This is what you can expect. Even just creating a 1 to 3 page PDF where you're giving them one additional piece of value or a short little 3 to 5 minute video they can download or access privately when they give you their email. All of these things help people trust you more. I've seen a lot of creators successfully do like the webinar strategy where basically they'll host like a live session, but it's not really a live session. It's like a pre-recorded live session that they just get new people to sign up for every day, and they have people attending every single day, and they get new leads every day from one piece of content that they continuously offer for free. So that's something that you could potentially look into. For my relationship channel, I decided that the best way to get people some of that value is by giving them a free self-assessment quiz where they're able to answer 10 easy, fast questions that will assess their relationship skills. So that way they're able to understand where they're at and what they need to do to improve. And then from there, it takes them to an article where they can go through step by step, depending on what results they got, and it will tell them the next resource that they need to improve themselves. Maybe it's a video, maybe it's the positive affirmation cards, maybe it's one-on-one coaching, maybe it's the soft life dating guide for women, maybe it's some journal prompts or something to take you to that next level. Whatever it may be, anyone and everyone that downloads that freebie either learns something to improve their relationships and their life, or they realize that they need more help and they purchase something from me, or they reach out to me for coaching. So I kind of got ahead of myself, but the next step of our system is to sell. You see how the S is a dollar sign? Yeah, that means money. Now, if you realize, the way that we acquired the person's email was through a freebie, through something that led them to the next purchase. So that's an automated way of selling because you don't really have to do anything. The download does the work for you. Once they download it, it prompts them to the next step, free of any of your energy or attention, unless of course they reach out to you. But if, for example, you built your email list from just giving out your newsletter link and people just signed up for your newsletter, and you don't really have a system to take your email list and get them to buy anything, then this is where you implement the selling system. Since you already have their email address, you do this through emails. I've also noticed through my own testing that a lot of the people who give you their email, they want to buy something from you. It's just that you haven't gotten them at the right time and place. So the key about selling is to consistently remind the person that you're there. It's not to force them. It's not to convince them. It's not to try to manipulate them and trick them. It's not to say, hey, you better buy my thing. Like, no. It's to remind them and tell them that you are here. This is the value that you provide. And whenever they're ready, here's your offer, right? If you've ever signed up for an email newsletter when you buy something from any type of website, you'll notice they email you every single day. Hey, look, here's some discounts. Hey, look, here's some coupons. Hey, look, don't forget to check out your shopping cart. You left a couple things in your shopping cart. With my website, thank goodness they have like pre-built automations where I'm able to just like add the automation and then edit it and customize it to my website. But I have automations to where if you go to my website, you add something to your cart and then you leave, it'll email you to remind you to check out. If someone puts something in their shopping cart, it means they wanted to buy it. Why didn't they? Maybe they forgot, maybe they got distracted, maybe they're unsure. So if you keep reminding them, they'll either block your number or buy something. That's the goal here. That's the goal when you have people's emails. You sell to them until they either buy something from you or they block your number, okay? Because either you're interested or you're not interested. Either way is okay, but you want to consistently remind them that you're there. I currently have like a 7 to 10 step email automation for when they purchase the freebie. It will immediately send them a thank you email. Then 2 days later, it'll send up a follow-up email. Then a few days after, it'll send like a client testimonial. Then a few days after, it'll send something else. Like I take them through steps for about 21 to 30 days to where I'm sending them emails. By the end of it, they should have purchased something, or they should have either removed themselves from the email, or they just read the emails and get the value and that's all they need, and maybe they don't need to purchase anything. Because you don't just want to sell in your email, you want to provide some value and then have a call to action. But that's a whole nother training, which I'll save for another day. Last but not least, you want to harmonize. Harmonize your business with what people are saying. So after a while of making your content, capturing the people, acquiring their email, selling to them, you're going to start to see some results. If you're trying your strategies for 1, 2, 3 months and you're not seeing any results, or you're seeing the same responses on things, hey, that's your sign to harmonize with what people are asking for. Harmonize yourself with your target audience. What do they want? Start to pay attention to how they respond to you. Because in the beginning, when you're setting this up, you're doing things based on your experience and what you think they want. But if you're noticing that they're not responding, you have to harmonize. You have to adapt. You have to build a relationship where it's mutual. You're not just trying to get something from them and trying to convince them to pay you. It's a back and forth relationship where two people are getting equal benefit. If you want to have a business with integrity and passion and harmony, you also have to be able to harmonize. You cannot come into business with a closed mind thinking that you have to do things a certain way. Me personally, I changed things so much, so many times until I finally found a system that worked for me. So if there's anything that I've said that doesn't resonate, you don't have to apply it. I actually came up with this framework on the spot. Like, this is just based off of what I know and what I've experienced. And just as much as I have 66,000 followers across all my platforms, I've probably lost tens of thousands of followers as well, because I changed things and because it's not all good things when you're in business. Sometimes there's ups, sometimes there's downs, but the point is that you're aligned with your purpose. Now, I was planning on getting into a whole nother aspect of this video, but this funnel ended up taking up so much time. So let me know in the comments your key takeaways. Let me know what things you have questions about and what you want to learn about next, because I'm doing these trainings to sort of document what I've learned from growing my other channels and other businesses. And now I want to sort of spread the generosity to other people who are not where I'm at yet and they want to get there. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you want, you can literally just go to my Instagram and see how I set up my business, because pretty much everything is centralized on my Instagram. From there, you can see like my other YouTube channels, my TikTok, my offers, my websites, all of the things put together in one place. And you could just study what I do and see how I've set it up. Because the way I have it set up now is after years of trial and error. So save the time that I basically spent experimenting and try something that already works, and then see how that improves what you're already getting. Because I guarantee you, if it 300% increased my business, it can definitely do something for you, okay? I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Mwah.